So when a part's that expensive, it's just embarrassing. Our whole business is set up to give people better value for money. And then when you have to phone someone up and say, yeah, to fix your radio, it's going to be thousands of pounds. And we don't make that money. That's just to buy the part. You know, I'm going to charge him like an hour's labor to fit and program that. We're not making a huge amount of money, and yet the component's that expensive. It is just ridiculous. I don't know how the manufacturers can get away with it. But you can't get it anywhere else. You have to buy a genuine one. You have to get it from Audi. Your only other choice is a second-hand unit, and second-hand units, all right, they might be all right, but they might be completely broken and you've paid hundreds of pounds for something that doesn't work. We've given the customer the part number for him to go out and source a second-hand one. We've shown him a few links on eBay to ones that look to be correct, but ultimately I can't have my team spending hours looking up a second-hand part on eBay. I can't be responsible for if that second-hand part doesn't work. So we've left it to the customer to source a second-hand one, and we're going to try and program it up and get it to work for him. And we'll be back, hopefully in a week or so, to let you know how we got on. Hi there, it's Paul from Pinnacle. We're in the workshop today, and we've got the A5 Cabriolet back in. I asked you the other day, how much do we think this component is? The infotainment control module, 5F J794, whatever you want to call it, radio head. Let's go in the office, have a look on Parts Link, see how much that is. So here we are on Parts Link. That is the component. That is the correct part number. Let's see how much that is. There it is, that's the part number. It calls it a central computer or infotainment control module, and it costs £4,410 plus VAT, making that component to you £5,292. That is crazy, it's embarrassing, and it's just ridiculous. Who's paying £5,292 just to get their radio to work again? Like I say, we don't make any money on that. The part is so expensive to buy that we can't possibly mark it up. There's nothing to be had really, and we charge like an hour's labor to fit it. So yeah, you can imagine how difficult it is for us to try and sell a component like that. That's basically impossible. So this is the failed unit that I've just removed from the vehicle. Obviously it's been in the vehicle glove box nice and dry all its entire life. It's just unfortunate it's had an internal failure. This is the second-hand unit, and you can see the face of it doesn't look great. It's all sort of dirty and scuffed up. It's probably been on a shelf in a breaker's yard or in a container or something for some time. So it's always a bit scary when you get a second-hand unit and it looks a bit rough. But hopefully the insides will all be fine and it's going to be a working unit. So again, we're using the ODIS computer to remove the component protection on the second-hand unit. It is a long process. It goes through a lot of different steps when it's doing this, and it just talks on the network, feeds back information to Germany, checks the key that I'm using is valid, checks that my password and credentials are valid, and eventually, there we go. It just said there, component protection activated successfully. So we just have to wait for it to finish up its test plan, and then we should have a functioning infotainment system again. So now we complete component protection, we have to do SVM activation. There's like 3 stages of this. We do component protection, we do coding, then we do SVM activations. If we don't do SVM activations, basically none of the additional features work. So now it's enabled Audi Music interface, so you can plug your phone in and play music from your phone. Navigation, Bluetooth, CarPlay, Google Automotive Link, which is like Android Auto, and it's re-enabled the nav version that was stored in the unit. So now when I hit the nav button, it should, yeah, give me a map. There we go. So we're very fortunate that the customers managed to get hold of a second-hand unit that works. There was some superficial damage. It was a bit scabby looking, and one of the connectors for the aerials was slightly damaged, but we've managed to make that, you know, make that good. So that's all working. We've got the unit in there. We've programmed it up with Audi ODIS, and now we've got a functioning infotainment system. The customer has a working radio. All is well.